Press record.
Boom! We are now live. It's Sunday and we're back. Jamie and John in the house. What are you saying?
I don't know.
Hello.
What I'm saying.
God, you two, what a travesty. That is no way to start this epic podcast.
It's because you didn't fill enough while I got up the chat and everything. You didn't. You let me down.
Oh, it must be my fault. Well, tonight's a good one. We got John in the house. John, not from Artisan, but from Faultless Electrical. We're going to be discussing the touching scandal. We're going to be dropping some fire merch. Woo! The Elite Sparking crew is in the house. The merch is going to drop tonight. I've even released a stealth version, so watch out. And anyone who buys a t-shirt will be entered into a prize draw for £100. Enter. You missed that, didn't you?
I did. I just like.
Oh, Jamie's really dropped the ball tonight.
I'm not as good
but
as he used to
before
be.
we get into all the show's goodness, who's going first?
Looks like it's me, Chevron sponsor this carnage, particularly tonight that we're sponsoring the carnage. I believe everyone on the show has been tickled by the shave on bug, including John, who I believe is rocking one of their chunky MFTs. It'll come to that, I'm sure, but they are the ones that support the show. If you have some test gear, if you're looking to test something that you can't see, like, I don't know, volts, amps, ohms, milliohms, and other measurements that Sam has no idea what they are, give them a shout, ask them if they tell them what you want to do. They'll tell you if they do it, and they'll get you something that does it at a reasonable price. Our guarantee on this show is, if you don't get the service, they'll tell us, and we'll out them, which is a promise you will not get on any other podcast in the industry of anywhere. So yeah, CA, thank you, Chevron for sponsoring the show.
Just do it.
Do what?
Play it.
Play what?
Pound for pound.
It's broken. It's broken.
Oh.
I can't do it. It's not working. Hang on.
As always, I am sponsored by Navitas, formerly Verso. Phil, it's very important to get the name change out there because the Verso products were so well received. And pound for pound, the best fuse board in the industry. However, they are now called Navitas. And their stuff is going to a new level. Everything they're bringing out is going to a new level. I really support them. I've been a big supporter for them. And I back them 100%. So if you don't think the board's any good, or if you don't get good service from them, I'm going to copy Jamie. And if they don't live up to your expectations, tell me and I will call them out. Outside of that,
Pound for pound.
come on, pound for pound.
There you
However,
go.
they are pound for pound the best board. I argue that with anyone. Mr. Oh, do you know what I found out John's surname was? Weaver. Weaver. That's such a weird little name, isn't it?
Because when I said
My name's John
Weaver,
Weaver.
when I said let's get the Weaver on for the show, Sam thought was going to be buying some Rizzlers and stuff. But I was like, no, John.
Sorry to disappoint. I mean,
What's Weaver?
Where's that from?
weaver. I think it's Irish descent from someone that was a weaver.
But it's Weaver.
No, nothing to do with drugs, unfortunately. So
Oh, that's disappointing. Because if it was, I'd be there. We are having technical difficulties tonight. As you may have heard, Sam was taking the piss because I'm trying to play audio, but it's not working properly. So we're going to can that off. That's what that was all about at the beginning. But as for now, what do you want to do? Do you want to go straight into the news and we'll get chatting to John in a minute?
Let's go straight into the news.
Let's go straight to the news VT. That's how we roll.
I might talk like that the whole podcast.
Let's
Hello,
talk like we're on
welcome.
the local radio. I'll do the local travel news. If you're on the M6 now, it's really, really busy. Not really. Not going to do that. Number one is this one. It's a video.
This is the one I found. You're welcome.
Yeah, for audio viewers. Sorry, this is for a video. I'll give an audio description after we've watched it once live on YouTube.
I can't
So
believe
this is the
people
guy-
tonight.
I believe it's in China. He gets into a lift with an e-bike battery and it explodes. Obviously, he's trapped within a lift. I'm not going to
Look at that.
I'm going to let it play again. I'm going to cut back to the VT so I don't just roll around the background. But yeah, he's obviously got a lithium-ion battery and he traps himself in a lift. The door's shut. And then just at the completely wrong time, it decides to ejaculate itself, obviously, with horrendous consequences. You can't actually see.
Look at that.
It is
He's
nasty.
finished.
flipping hell.
I'm going to cut it there.
That is
It-
horrific.
It is horrific. It's just an absolute. The chances of you being in a lift when it goes up are slim.
But didn't it go up because of some sort of magnetic thing? Because it is in a metal box. I don't think that's real.
It could have touched the metal terminals on the floor, but just for public announcement, like don't go in confined spaces with any sort of battery, especially big metal boxes.
Not with a high capacity. And do you know why that went up like that? Because it's probably fully charged.
Oh yeah. The thing with lithium is, like explosives, apparently C4 has as much power in it as a lump of butter. The difference is C4 can let it all go in one go. That's what I'm reliably informed of. And the same with lithium. Lithium batteries have a set amount of power in them. Unlike an AA battery or a car battery, they can let the whole lot go in a oneer. And if it wants to come out as electricity, it'll come out as electricity. If it wants to come out as fire and gas and smoke in a box you're in, it'll also do that. So we just thought we'd put that on. It's not really our bag, but we just thought we'd put it there as a warning because we know people operating flats and stuff like that, up and down in lifts and stuff, and it's just one to watch out for.
Do you think, like when you're like working in a hospital or something and they have like a battery backup system in there, don't they? Which is basically a load of car batteries.
UPS.
Do you think they will ever switch them over to lithium?
They probably, I would imagine there are lithium batteries for that. Every UPS I've been in sealed acid, I think, because they're very, very stable. Obviously,
how worried would you be with that though?
Lithium ion, the only way I can say it, I'll say it again, it can let the whole lot go in a oneer. So that's what you've got to be aware of. And when they get damaged, they go. So
to me though, nothing. It doesn't matter if it's high voltage, but nothing's scarier than DC to me. It is the scariest.
I'm the same. What about you, John?
To be honest, you're the expert at it, mate. I expected you to know everything about batteries, but I don't know anything about batteries.
Sorry for asking the guest the question. I got told once we was doing a central battery system. You know, every merchant item, it's all fed from a central point. And was putting these big 12-volt car batteries, and there's this guy working me, go and get one and get a spanner and come outside, and I'll show you how dangerous they are. Because I was like, oh, it's just a battery. And he dropped the spanner over the battery terminals. It just melted it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I've seen that.
Because obviously they will crank a starter mode, which is about a couple of thousand amps. So since then,
my
I've been terrified of batteries.
My dad used to run the dumps in Croydon, so we was always playing with stupid stuff in the yard, and we was always melting spanners on the batteries because they'd always getting batteries dumped.
On the flip side of that, if you got to a lift with a normal car battery and dropped it onto the terminals, it wouldn't go up like that, but it might make a bit of smoke. And in a lift, that's going to be a problem to you. A small amount of smoke in a lift is a problem. So,
hold on,
just be aware.
You know when you see them banks of batteries all connected together?
Yeah.
Every single time, I think that's way more dangerous than anything I'm going to come across. Like it just is.
Yeah, you're right. If you get a 12-volt battery connected to 2, that's 24. Then 3 is 48. Blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth.
Have you ever seen Rambo when they strap him up and then they get the car batteries and then they put the water on the end and then they do him with that? It's only a couple of car batteries in series.
I think it will, I think
that's what I'm saying. It's only a couple of car batteries and they've done Rambo with it.
48 volts across your bits. Let's try it out, Alex.
Do you think it was in a crash then? Was the battery in a crash and that's why it erupted? Because it's come from a bike, hasn't it?
They in the actual post, it said it's something to do with like going in there, created a magnetic field that made it pop. But I think that's bullshit. It didn't make no sense to me, but I don't know. Jamie, you would have invented the lithium-ion battery. How do you not know?
I did invent the technology for that and the blue LED, but I don't know. I'd have thought that my instinct says he short. If something went wrong with it just at a random time, or maybe he touched the metal floor with it. But either way, my advice is like what a drill battery. A drill battery is lithium-ion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They are, but
if you're in a lift and you drop your drill, if you're in a lift, a drill battery's not small. If you're in a lift and you drop your drill, could it cook off like that? Which on a building site would not give you any problems, but in a lift, that's going to give you a big problem in it. So, like, carry them out, carry them in a toolbox, but just be careful.
Well, carry them in your car,
exactly,
in your van, in your truck.
We're all used to NiCads and whatever metal halides and that have been on drills and that, but now they are lithium. Got to be careful.
Yeah, no, all batteries are lithium, but I don't know if they're lithium ion. They're lithium something else, aren't they? Oh no, they might be lithium ion, but then bike batteries ain't lithium ion. They're lithium something else. You should know.
I keep all of my batteries in the same box, and now I'm like, I think I might be an idiot. You know what I mean? It never crossed my mind.
I think you created a bomb.
But
but hold on a minute. How many times, like, has a lithium battery ever gone up like that? Like that's what like that. First of all, that was in China. Second of
Yes.
all, that's probably some bullshit Chinese battery.
But all of our batteries come from China. I mean, they all say made in
Yeah, I
China.
know, but like you're gonna get the ones that they have to meet British standards for, then you're gonna get the ones they turn out for China. They're gonna be different, aren't they?
I had a big argument on Facebook on a group about like going, don't buy fake DeWalt batteries. And obviously I got a load of like people going, oh, they're just going to get money out of you. I was like, but what I will tell you is I know Big Clive took a couple apart and he said like the cheap ones don't have any protection. So like be aware if you're buying cheap batteries, you are playing with fire, literally. Not literally playing with fire.
Ollie put Rambo ain't real, it's a film. Yeah, well,
No,
obviously, but it's got to be based in a little bit of fact. I know he kills 800 people in it, but do you know what I mean? You might be able to.
There's only one way to find that out, and that's to get a couple of car batteries and Sam and have a go
some
at it.
clamps.
No, you're the one. You've probably been through special forces interrogation training, so you're the one who's got to see how long you can hold out for.
I don't torture people. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get a bit of bacon or something and get some car batteries, see if that'll work. I'll do that on one of my YouTube videos for your entertainment.
Excellent. I'll be looking forward to that.
On your balls.
Whatever. Next bit of news, man.
Yeah, man, that dragged out, didn't it? Now, we're not doing number 2 because it's boring. We're just going to go straight to number 3 because there's quite a bit to go on that. So you go to Phil while I pull up a website. This is MCS. MCS are renewing their scheme. This might be old news, but I just thought
John don't know about MCS.
John don't want to know
no,
about MCS.
I did work for a firm that done solar, but I didn't learn much there, if I'm honest.
Anyone we know?
I don't doubt it.
Did you get touched by them?
Never heard of him.
Because we have got to discuss the touching scandal because it, like, I've heard that it actually happened. So I don't know. We'll have to.
Oh, is that what you heard?
Yeah.
Rumour mills, right?
You know more than me.
With this MCS one, to get us back on track before this gets demonetized in a second, yeah. MCS are going to redevelop their scheme. And what they're going to do is they're going to make it less about paperwork and more about quality. The question is, why did you do that in the first place? Like, all right, you've got the serial numbers of all the panels on the roof, but they're going to make it more about quality in favour of the customer, which I thought it sort of was in the thing. Like, what was the whole point of it?
I thought a lot of it's all to do with like logging all the serial numbers for all the stuff that you've installed. So if there's any comeback, they know exactly what one's been installed and where it come from and who installed it, when it was installed, how it was installed. So you've got like a provenance to the whole installation that is unarguable. So when you write it down at the beginning, there's no way you can say, well, I didn't fit that one.
I'll read out the 5 things they've got. Number 1 is reduce the focus on paperwork in favour of delivered quality. So less paperwork and more actually customer getting what they paid for. 2 is risk of the non-compliance will determine the frequency of your assessment. So if you're not very good and you get complaints, you get assessed more. Standardised assessments, because apparently everyone's going around doing their own thing. Centralised customer complaint management, which I thought MCS did already. But
who are they going to complain to? Well, mind you, they complain to like...
It's the same as
you have to sign off the installation, didn't you, with like your CPS?
You complain to the installer at first, and you can go to them. But I thought that'd be standard.
No, wait, no. Can't you go? Can't if you do the installation and you're with a CPS, don't you go to them because that's got to be signed off by the CPS as well? And maybe I'm just talking bollocks. Mark will know.
We'll get some about it because this is interesting. We'll probably do a show on this because it just seems like this is what I should be doing anyway. And they're going to make, but then after all the consumer stuff, so it's more consumer focused, the consumer code membership is no longer mandatory. So there's a lot going off there to unpack. I'm not sure, allegedly, if it just seems to me like it's just so they can let more people in because people are crap at paperwork and can't pay them money. Whereas if you let people be crap at paperwork, you can pay them, more people can pay them more money.
I don't know if the issue is that I'm not convinced by that. Go on, sorry, mate.
The people that have the complaint are normally electricians coming afterwards. But they can't complain against the previous contractor. The customer has to. The NIC will not listen when you say this person's work is gash. They will not listen. The customer has to complain. And it's just stupid because the customer doesn't know technically what is wrong.
You know what, though? Right. And I practice not doing this because I absolutely hate it whenever I hear about it. Every electrician turns up to a job and goes, the electrician before really done a number in there, didn't they? It's like, I don't know what it is about electricians. Even if it's a good installation, they come along and go, mate, I don't know why he's done that. You're going to need a full rewire. It's like that's such a shit mentality.
You know,
Would you do that?
If they have to actually back it up, though, would they do it?
Yeah. But all I come across is rubbish work, though. It's just
compared to what?
It's builders. Did you not see my stories last week when there's a socket that's got 2 neutrals at it? It was actually a death trap waiting to happen because people that are not competent. Because they're not competent and they're trying to do electrics.
Angry boy over it. He's legit angry.
I get livid about this. I really do. I can't stand the state of our industry. It's terrible.
What do you mean add 2 neutrals to it? Explain.
Pardon?
Explain 2 neutrals to it. Because if it's a
ring,
it's going to...
Basically, there's your reference neutral. So it'll be 0, 0 and live, won't it? At socket. So a Martindale won't know any different. When you put in a Martindale, you get 3 lights, didn't you?
Yeah.
So it's just recognizing 2 zeros and a 230 or 240, whatever it is. But if it's got a neutral at it, it's never going to trip the RTD because it's a balanced load. Because anything in balance, it doesn't detect it because it's going back down to neutral.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
Don't worry about it. You never will.
Don't worry. I'll do a video on it and I'll explain it. Okay.
So if you've got 2 neutrals in your, are we talking about like parallel neutrals?
No, a neutral in the earth and a neutral in the live. Sorry, a neutral in the earth and a neutral in the neutral and a live in the live.
Well, why didn't you say that then?
That's what I did say, didn't I?
We're going to review that. We're going to go VAR on this, people. So just hold on while we go full VAR and check it out. The problem is with these schemes is, as we've said to death on this, the customer being able to complain. The customer don't know what's good or bad. It should be, you should be able to, if you're in MCS, let's put it right, if you're in a scheme, you should be able to tell tales another person in a scheme, but you can't do that. And that is a ridiculous problem of all the schemes.
Yeah, peer-to-peer review of each other. So if you come across...
I don't know if I believe in that, though. That's just grassing.
The thing is...
do better. You shouldn't get anything grassed against you if you're doing the work properly in the first place.
I bet. Listen, do you know how easy it is? I've worked on sites my entire life. How easy it is to snag the next man's work. Easy. You could do the best installation in the world. I'll come along and snag it. No problem.
But if you had to justify it to a scheme...
Mine are faultless, mate. Faultless.
Oh.
Hey.
Only because you would have got touched if you didn't do it right.
Ooh. Yeah, but
no, honestly, right? It's the easiest thing in the world is to pull someone else's work apart.
Yeah.
So
I hate it.
Traditionally, MCS is hard to get into because of paperwork, That's what everyone knows about the paperwork. So if they get rid of the paperwork and make it more like the normal schemes, they'll get more members, they'll pay more money. And that's what they're after, allegedly. That's my opinion. I think it's just a dumbing down of everything to get more people through a door. And they'll go, oh, you can't complain. The customer's got to complain. I don't think it's going to be great for the industry. And in much the same way that Part P wasn't either. It never worked, did it? It's still not working now.
No.
It's not even a problem. It's not solved anything except to open the floodgates. As much as the NIC tried to hide the fact, it opened the floodgates to hundreds of kitchen fitters, bathroom fitters and builders to get qualified exclamation marks.
But it's an age-old thing though, isn't it? There is no... Like, these are profit-making organisations, NIC, NAPIT, all them. There's no sort of... They've got the credibility in their name already because there's only 2 of them about, so they both do roughly the same thing. So there's no credibility that they can gain or lose by grassing each other up. What's he done?
It's the chat. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't look. Don't look. If you're lost. Here's what I'll say, The schemes are all turd. I've got one on one of the major scheme providers. We're going to be talking about my news next week. I had someone contact me today about one of the major scheme providers and a problem they've had with them. They put me in court. I haven't had a chance to deal it, but it's quite a juicy one.
What one is it? You can't just hold out now.
I can't just say it, can I? It could be like it could be a wind up, so I can't. It's one of the 2 major ones.
Well,
it's on LinkedIn. The guy's been quite vocal about putting all his stuff up. I've just got to do a due diligence on it. We'll talk about it next week on the news. It will come out because it's a big
there's no sort of will for them to kick a member out. No. If you're paying your dues, there's no will to kick you out. They just go, listen, do better next time. Please don't get caught doing that. Or please don't do that. Do it better next time. And that's it.
Well, no, what they'll do is they'll inspect you more. They won't kick you out. They'll come and inspect you more often, which means they'll make more money. So if you're and you get inspected every 6 months or 3 months, they'll make more money. So they're going to make more money out of bad people.
So that's a whole thing. And that's the reason why they don't really do what they say on the tin. Yes, they do raise the standard of the industry, because if everyone was part of them, you've all sort of know what you've all got to work to a certain level to pass your inspection, haven't you? You've all got to sort of
allegedly, but I see some crap.
But you know what I mean? You've got to work to that level at least some of the time. If you've done every single installation gash, you're going to get found out.
There's no fear. There's no fear of installations being bad. Like,
I think there's two different sets though, isn't there? Because you've got like Instagram worthy stuff. So you put stuff that is just you've spent all day on it, lighting it up, getting everything in the row, just making it look absolutely pucker. And then you've got real world sparking where there's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't look as pretty as that. And then you've got builders doing electrics, which is just absolute gash.
Do you know what's really annoying me off the subject? Put a car up on Facebook, Mrs. Old Car on Facebook to sell. It's up for £1,000, right? It's not even expensive. The amount of people go, take £500 cash. Yeah, just offer me half price, no problem.
That's the
you take it for £250, you prick.
That's why we have crap workers. That's the mentality, people.
Take 500 cash. Because that makes a difference. Cash, prick. What else are you going to pay with it for?
What else are you going to pay with? Buttons. Oh, Jinx, they can't speak to somebody says you
Jinx, private Jinx.
Well, this is not going to be a great conference when I speak. I'm choking here. But yeah, that's it. We'll come back to that. We'll get probably Mark or someone on to review it. We'll speak to Solar Boys, but it just seems to me like we're doing. I don't know if I've seen the Dave Chappelle sketch. It's like, I'm going to be a good Sparky. We're going to run a good scheme. You should have been doing that anyway. Like, be customer facing, stopping faults and making some sort of a complaint. That's what everyone thought you was doing, but you're not. So yeah, weird. And that ends the news tonight. I'm going to get a drink. I'm choking to death here because it's roasting in my office.
Yeah. Cheers, Jada Spark. You're a turbo, and you know what I mean.
Oh, Victor Meldrew. Oh, Victor Meldrew, you're the Spark.
Oh, listen, just quickly, whilst we're at the top of the hour, it's time. The Elite Sparking Crew T-shirts are being dropped now. The Elite Sparking Crew, Josh Jr., hello. Well, thank you for dropping £10, you lunatic.
You could have just spent on a T-shirt.
Could have just spent on a T-shirt. The Elite Sparking Crew T-shirts have now dropped. You have got this one, the Elite Sparking Crew Classic, and then you've got the Triple Black Stealth Edition, which is black on black, and it is unbelievable.
I did notice unbelievable. I noticed the Elite Spark Crew mentioned them. I think it was on a thing called eFix, or I mentioned the Elite Sparking Crew. It's getting around.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Go and check them out. Electricianspod.shop. They're going to be available for 48 hours. And if you buy one, you'll be automatically entered into a draw for a prize worth £100 or £100 cash.
You what? You've got
and I get one for free.
Cash.
Not what for?
For appearing on the show. You promised me. You're like, come on, I'll give you a T-shirt.
To come on the show.
I had to pay for the last one and it turned up too small, right? You know you done wrong. And you rubbed your crotch all over it as well.
I did do that.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Not even allegedly.
No, I actually did it.
It's actually live.
Yeah, we're live. We're going to talk about your business in a minute, John, when we've done the Elite Sparky Crew bit. What else we got to go on? We're going to talk about, John, and we'll come on some features in a bit.
Go on.
What are you doing? Are you buying a T-shirt live on air?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why would I buy my own T-shirts, you idiot?
I don't know. Bump up the numbers and something like that. All it was to surprise to see me and you on the eFix. We're just having a look in, see what the competition's like.
But yeah, go on. What are we talking about now? Elite Sparking Crew. Electricianspod.shop.
Hello. Is there a delay tonight? What?
I don't know. What are you doing, Jamie?
I'm waiting for you to start.
I'll do it. I'm John from Faultless, and I'm on here to promote my business and to tell you how it's going on.
You're not the driver. I'm just the passenger.
Just do St. Jamie.
I don't know what Sam's doing, but John, 6 months ago, we had you on for Business Month. What? You just started, is that right?
Yeah, so I got made redundant from my previous firm and then thought I'd go on my own.
Anyone we know?
Don't think so.
No, I never have heard of him.
And yeah, I just started up, got myself into a bit of debt trying to sort of start this. And yeah, it really resonated with me what you said the other week, Sam, because you feel selfish for you're doing everything for yourself, like leaving your family short potentially, like when you're investing in yourself and trying to build this thing. And that's how I felt at the time. And yeah, it's getting better and
6
things are
months
getting,
in.
it feels like it's paying off. But yeah, it really resonated with me when you said that.
It's incredibly it's a very tough thing to do because you're doing it because you want to. Your wife don't care if you run a business or don't. Your kid don't care if you run a business or don't. And the fact that you are now not providing to the level you was before, they still don't care whether you want a better life or not. That's your duty as a man, as a husband, and someone who organized a life where a family was involved. It's your duty to provide for them. And because you've decided, like a selfish prick, to go and start a business,
Cheers.
go and buy a truck or a van, and then earn so much less than you was before in the hope you may grow a business and you might be happy going to work. Do you know what I mean? Buck off and go and provide. And it is a terrible feeling of guilt, especially at our age, John. How old are you?
37.
37. I'm 42. And at this sort of age, you're like, mate, you ain't started a business yet. You ought to just get on with your life and be the bum that you was before and go back to subbing and be a bit of a prick because you've let it go by. What you doing? What you doing? I'm going to start a business at 42. And all these little things, little gremlins going around in your head. It makes it 10 times harder because you ain't 20 anymore. You ain't starting a business at 20. No one respects you for starting a business at 40. It's not like, look at him, he's a go-getter. Well, he's not. He's 40 years old starting a business. What a prick. Do you know what I mean? What a selfish prick. If he ain't made it by now, he's never going to. So why is he starting that for? Do you know what I mean?
It's the last resort, a last hurrah, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, well, I've got to have a go. And it's like, no one really cares whether you have a go or not. It's gone past you. No one gives a shit that you're 40. Like, you are nothing. You're bum. You've got to this stage, and now you're having one last hurrah, so your family's got to suffer. And that's the shit that goes... But that's the shit that goes through...
Thank you. That's cool, everyone.
But that's the shit that goes through your head all the fucking time.
Yeah, you do feel like a selfish prick, really. And but it is starting to pick up a bit. I mean, I don't know if everyone else has found it, but it was just definitely quiet. I did have work and I do sub-ins for a few regular people. And I know you don't agree with that. You should put your whole heart into it, but I would literally lose my house if I didn't. So, but it's been nice because I got some steady income. And then trying to build up bits, but it just seems so quiet.
Hold on.
Literally in the last month, it's been really picking up.
Hold on.
Hold up.
How much of your business is your work and how much is subbing?
I don't know. At the minute, say 70-30 at the minute.
See, it's no good, is it? It's no good.
Yeah, but it started off 100% and 0, and then it's been slowly doing that. And scaling up.
You've got to sub. You can't do anything else.
I haven't.
What do you mean you haven't?
I haven't subbed.
Yeah, but you do low-level domestic work around your local area. That means you don't have to sub. But anyone else?
Are you joking? Do you know how hard it was to build my name up in this local area? And it could go in a second.
But subbing... It's
exactly what John's doing, you prick.
It's necessary. It's a necessary evil.
No, it's not. I didn't have to.
There's
no plan B.
There's always an exception to the rule, isn't there?
No, there isn't. There's no plan B. You got to go all in, because if I go back doing a couple of bits of subbing here and there, I'm gonna be like, that's gonna be the end of it. I've got to keep this momentum going. That's how I've had to deal with it. It's different.
Well, personally, I don't want to lower my standards or my prices because I'm desperate for work, and I feel like that's what people do. They end up, especially if you're getting work from Facebook and that kind of thing. It's just rubbish work, and someone wants a light for 20 quid and that sort of stuff. I don't want to be associated with that. I want to do proper work for people, and not this.
Oh, you don't want to do domestic stuff then, no?
I do like domestic work. I'm happy to do domestic work. What I'm saying is I don't want to do millions of jobs for 10 quid around the area. It's just, I just see.
Yeah, but I don't do jobs for 10 quid. It's a minimum £50 call out fee, right? And so that's what I started off doing, and I'd get 2 a week, and we were struggling like mad. The odd 300 quid will come in, stuff like that. But then what happens is those £50 customers, they come back to you for something else, and then all of a sudden they need like a summer house in the garden, or they need some other bullshit. And that's what I'm living off at the moment, is those repeat customers. All my work next week is repeat customers.
100%. That's the best way. It's just the little pebbles drop and the ripples go out. So every time you get a customer and they recommend you and it goes on like that, it's the best way to build it. It's just getting your name out there initially, isn't it?
Been tough. It's been tough. Like, honestly, there's been times, but this is what I'm saying, John. I had to do it the way I'm doing it. You found the way that's best for you. There is like these people that say, do this and it definitely happen. No, it's there is a certain there's a certain way for everyone. There's a road paved for everyone, and your way is to do a bit of subbing and get and like maintain your nut by getting a bit of subbing, and then hopefully building up a customer base off the side of that. That for me wouldn't work, because I'm an extremophile. I'm either all in or all out.
No, but I do agree. There's certain parts of it where I think that had I focused more, perhaps it would have grown more. So I do agree with you to a certain extent. If you're not putting it wholeheartedly in, maybe that is a reason why it's not grown in the way that I'd hoped it would. But at the same time, most of the people I speak to say it was one lucky client. They spoke to one random person. It just got them tons of work. And it's just the luck. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You could be the best at your job. Doesn't mean jack. If you know someone down the pub that's got a giant contract coming in, that is worth its weight in gold. Doesn't matter how clever you are, it's who you know. In my experience, and I know no one, so
it's been funny for me, because we obviously live in a village by the coast, and we moved here 5 years ago. So I don't know anyone down here. I didn't move down here to make friends. I don't want to know no one down here. I don't even know my next door neighbour's name. I'm not interested. So building up a business with no existing network's been really tough, and I wouldn't advise doing it the way I've done it, but then I would really. But again, where you've got people you can sub for and you've got a little network, I expect that's probably the best way to do it in your area.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a tough. I mean, where I live, it's quite near London, and London's just it's a million electricians there. It just seems like it's unreal. It's so saturated, and everyone's after a slice of it. Where I live in Harlow, it's really, really saturated with electricians as well, and it's just finding your niche in the market and doing whatever. So I don't really specialize in anything. People know me for EICRs perhaps, but that's an absolutely terrible part of our industry to get into, because no one wants to pay people money for it.
If I get a load of EICRs down my way, would you come and sub for me?
What are you paying?
Whatever it is, I don't know. Whatever it is.
Did anyone see that on this week?
I bet you get screwed down on that price, Sam. It'll be like, we'll give you £120 in EICR. Because we're giving you 100.
The email going around this week, it got shared around on social media. It was some company, I would name them, but I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember sentiment. I'll have a look. And it was basically 100 quid for an EICR, but £105 inside the M25. And people were raging on the Facebook groups and stuff like that about it, going, "Who's working for that? Who's doing this job for that?" I can't remember exactly what the number was, but a few people sent it me. I ain't got it up. But are you finding that's a problem? People just undercutting all the time?
No.
I find that customers use me as a benchmark, so they want a quote, and then I give them the quote and just hear bugger all from them. So I'm guessing they just sort of have it, and they want to know how much it costs and think, well, I'll put that off for another year or whatever it may be. So I've had a lot of that.
So when you do your quoting, how do you build your quotes? Because I do something really basic. It's the only way that really works for me. The way I do it is I will look at a job, obviously price up the materials, think how long it's going to take me. Is it going to take 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever? And then I would quote based on £50 an hour. And I wouldn't tell them it's £50 an hour. I'd quote based on that. So say I think it's 4 hours if at a plod, but I could smash it out and do it in 2. That's what I would do. That's how I price my jobs. How do you price yours?
Very similar. I get the material list, get it all on. I use TLC, and then I'm put a markup on it. Then I look at how long it's going to take. If it's up to a day, I'll charge a day rate. If it's half a day, and then if not, if it's little jobs, it's just an hourly rate with an increased first hour. But other than that, no, that's just it. However long it takes, and then just my hourly rate.
I'm interested about this increased first hour. What is the whole reasoning around it? I'm not criticizing or anything like that. I'm just genuinely interested in why you have an increased first hour.
If I'm going there just to do one job, I'm going to go turn up, say I'm changing a light. I'm going there, getting all my tools on the van, driving my van, paying for that fuel, doing whatever else just for 1 hour, and I might not be able to book something else in that day. Well, why would I not put an increased first hour? If it's going to be something else, and I'm there for half a day, see what I mean? Like, that's why I have an increased first hour.
I don't think you're wrong, but for me, I think it's slightly different. Like, I'm asking you because then I can compare with mine. Am I doing it right? And for me, where everything is within probably 20 minutes of my house, and do you know what I mean? Like, I could be there in 20 minutes. I do the job, takes me 20 minutes to put up the light. I can't really charge more than 50 quid. I'd think that's a piss.
That's actually fair. If I'm actually local to Harlow, I wouldn't sort of, I feel like I'd change that slightly because literally everything's 5-10 minutes away. But other than that, I'm probably getting on the motorway going somewhere.
Yeah. And it's like, a lot of my work is within 20 minutes, but I suppose like if you're quoting in London, you might like a job that's 4.5 miles away might take you 2 hours to get to at the wrong time of day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you've got to remember, if I've drove to say Camden to do a quote, I've lost that money as well and that time.
That's death. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough one, but I'm no expert. You know, I don't sell a business course or anything like that, so I can't possibly sort of say that I know what I'm doing.
Are you allowed to? Is it like, did you have like a non-complete course about doing stuff like
that? I couldn't compete anyway, mate. No idea.
Everyone's saying, Jamie, why are you so quiet?
I'm just listening to this southern chat. This is not my area. So it's like you two do the same kind of work, which the majority of the viewers do. So there's no point me chipping in. I'm just going to listen because.
Would you ever consider doing domestic, Jamie?
No, I'd rather cut my own penis off with a rusty bread knife, to be honest.
Well, just low hanging fruit. This is what I don't understand.
I don't want to deal with members of the general public. I don't want to go around people's asses. I don't do any of it. I've always been an industrial electrician. I've always done controls. I'm quiet though. You know what I mean? So like. But I think it's across the board. Like I spoke to people this week and like, I'm just a bit quiet a minute. I've got a load of money coming in from stuff I've done previously, but at the minute, although I did want a couple of weeks off, which I've got, I'm now getting, I think everyone must feel like this, yeah? I spoke to them the other day. I was running around like a knob. I was asking, I wanted a couple of weeks off. A week come up, I had it off. I got all my stuff sorted out. I felt great because I got everything back to square one, all tied up and that. And now I'm panicking that I've got no work, but I'm in the middle of what I asked for. But you still got that twitch, don't you? It's that constant twitch of being self-employed.
Yeah, massively.
So like now I'm like, now I'm panicking. So tomorrow I'm down in the office for a couple of days tomorrow, do my accounts, get them all wrapped up. I've got work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. I'm on holiday for 2 weeks of August. I'm not thinking, well, the problem I get is I know the lack of work that I've got now will nip me in end of September, start of October. So like now I'm worried for the future. And the other problem is like, even if I get a load of good work, if I haven't done anything for 2 weeks now, I've effectively half my income in. So I'm just wondering more about that. But it's interesting. I was letting you two talk because it's domestic, but in the industrial sector at the minute, commercial sector, everyone's on holiday. There's no point trying to get any work.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to break into that kind of work, if I'm honest. I mean, that's where I've done my apprenticeship, and you know, I've done like when Mike was on it last week. You know, the stuff that he's doing is my whole apprenticeship, and it's just mad that he's got that. He's breaking into that sector. That's something.
He's got a lot more coverage than you, haven't he? He's got a lot more coverage. But
it's just the paperwork that goes with it. It's mad, and like obviously he's got systems in place and stuff like that. But it's a really can be a really tough thing, especially working with big clients.
Do you know what I don't want to do anymore? I've realised this in the past couple of weeks. Do you know what I don't actually want to do anymore? I don't want to graft. Don't do any work. I want to do fuck all and get paid for it. That's why I'll do teaching, because it's all right money if you're not doing a lot of work. I'm done. I'm 42. Like I'm done. I've gave it all. You know what I mean? I've dragged in massive arms. Now I want to do technical stuff, controlsy bits, bit of consulting, bit of design, whatever. my days on site, the power tools I've got now, that's it for me. Like I might buy the odd battery because I don't want to do any work anymore. I think it's about time I admitted it to myself. Don't want to graft.
You forget your age. I was on a rewire a few weeks ago, and I was blowing. I was done by 2 o'clock. I just could not keep up. It's just I can't do it. I'm too old.
I've possibly got a load of work. I've possibly got a load of work at a solar farm, which will be enjoyable. I'll go down then I'll blow for it. You know what I mean? I've got foresters back on. I've got a couple of other projects that are coming up. I don't mind going and grafting for the right kind of work, but actual contracting, pulling armoured trays and all that, I've done, mate. I'm finished with it. I'm not that boy anymore. You know what I mean? I'm old. But maybe it's because I'm not getting the right way on work. But I really do think I am fucked. Like my body's knackered. I've had enough.
See, I'm all right. Like, I don't really work that hard, and if I do, I just go easy the next day. But like a lot of my stuff is just plodding around, getting it done. Yeah, I mean, I'm not chasing the money as such. So if I book a day to do a job, it's probably only 5-6 hours work maximum. So I plod it out. I ain't trying to be a hero. And like I charge out a day. So I charge out £50 an hour or £325 for a day, whatever's less. Just
See, if
like
if I get to that solar job, I'll graft. But it could be like 5 weeks of graft. And I will literally go there, graft, because obviously it'd be
what,
dark
make
by
off
then.
5 armoreds again in a week. That's
maybe not even that. But I'll go there and graft, and I'll
Polishing the cable.
Yeah, polish them up with boot polish.
Couldn't believe it. He was there a week and made off 5 armoreds, bro.
I'll tell you what.
You know how many times how many people would have got sacked for making off 5 armoreds in a week?
I'd love to see you make off a decent sized cable. I bet you'd fucking shit your pants.
Done it loads of times.
No, I mean,
did it at Gatwick Airport, and they were so fastidious about.
It did open for about fucking 2 years after the finish date.
They were so fastidious about the cables that they had like a black light, and they would go down the cores, and if you'd even nicked it a slight bit, that's it, got to come out or re-terminated. They were so funny about it, and it was me doing them all because I don't know, I just was good at it. But I ain't bothered about shit like that. It wouldn't take me a week to make off 5 cables though.
Well, maybe I'll get you down there and see how long you last. The problem with solar farms is you are trudging around in foot deep mud all day, which takes it out of you for a start. Just moving around's hard work in the winter. It's literally just slime and mud and stuff like that. But them days, I don't mind doing stints of graft, but for me, to be honest, graft.
Hold on. Hackwood Electrical says he charges £35 an hour. Jesus, bro.
What's wrong with that?
£35 an hour. Why would you bother? I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't do it. Not doing it.
Depends on what sort of work though. And if it's like the cumulative hours, there's no day rate. It could end up being a decent screw at the end of it. Wait, what's 35 times 8?
Doesn't matter. Not 50 times 8, is it?
I don't think I'm charging a bit more than that. I charge £35 now, but I've gone to a new scheme now charging because I'm getting mugged off by people. But depends who you are. Depends who if you're a mate.
Carry on.
Are you going for a wee in your garden? Honest to God,
yes.
It's disgusting, isn't it? So Sam's gone for a wee. I bet it stinks of piss out there. Mind you, it's the south, so it stinks of piss anyway. So not to worry about it.
See, I think I've always been employed, so I've never had the biggest drive anyway to go out and earn coin and do bits and bobs. So I don't feel like I give it as much as some people do when they're throwing themselves into the business, working till 12 o'clock at night and whatever else. I still got that mentality of an employed person, and it gets to 5 o'clock. I'm like, well,
you could do it. I used to, because I was trying to work and run my business, which means you're there at night doing stuff. And when I first met my missus, she'd come home and go, I'll be on the kitchen side with all my books. I'd go, what do you go? Oh, I've got all this work to do. She's like, but you've been at work with them. Like, yeah, I got all the accounts and stuff to do now. And then she went, you're mad. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about it like that. When you're younger, you can do that kind of punishment though. But as you get older, I literally now, all I want to do is 8 hours and then maybe a couple of hours admin, and I don't want to do it. I only want to do it. I want to work 4 days a week. That's my aim for next year, is to work 4 days a week. And not even decent days. I'm talking like scratching my arse days. I'm not even afraid to admit anymore.
So I have a plan on how I want my business to evolve over the next couple of years. Do you have a plan, John, or are you just going to see how it goes, or do you have a definitive goal that you want to get to?
No, but literally just want to carry on plodding and getting myself out there, and just get to a point where I'm busy enough to cover my bills, support my family. I'm not looking to take on or sort of grow and have like 5 electricians underneath me. I want to be a one-man band and eventually be big enough to take on an apprentice and see people through, because that's what my passion is teaching. And I'd love to teach an apprentice again.
So it's quite admirable, but the thing is, like Jamie says, I am old, and I love the fact that I'm generating my own business and getting on at the moment, but that can go away tomorrow. So what I'm thinking of is, well, this is my plan. So I want to get the name of my company out there to become a self-perpetuating machine. So I get work just through the name of my company, all the domestic type of work. But to expand beyond that, I'm never going to have like 5 or 6 people out on the road doing electrical jobs all around Thanet, because it's just not enough work in Thanet to do that. But what I could do is have another branch of the company that does new builds. So I manage the new builds and I employ subbies to do the new builds, and then I manage it as part of the thing, and then I have someone else going out doing
Whose
the
business course you been on?
So that is my plan. That's my plan to get off the tools but have my own business. And I think it's quite important to have a plan and have an end goal, and then plan towards that end goal. Otherwise, there's no plan to get anywhere, is there?
I want to come down my office about 9 o'clock, do whatever I've got to do, go for a walk for an hour at lunch, fuck off by 4, and not work any weekends or Fridays.
Yeah, I would like to get to the point where I'm busy enough to only pick the cream and only work Monday to Wednesday, and then that's it. And then just give the rest of the work away. I mean, look, I sub for people that are so inundated with work, they have to give it away. And like, it's something I touched on in my stories before. And it's not little guys like that, but big companies that are taking up all of the work, and then they take their bit of coin off of it, and they sub it down. Then you get 5 big contractors, and they sub it down. And then by the time it gets down to you or I, all of the money's been taken out of it, and it's just such a rubbish situation to be in.
And Sparky's been compartmentalised, so new builds, you've got no chance. They're done by new build Sparks. Solar is done by Solar Sparks. Back in the day, everyone did all the Sparky's covered everything. That's gone. That's dead. The firms wanted to compartmentalise so they could pay you less money. And I am lingering on in an industry where that's not a case. And that's what I'll rob myself. I've only got 10 years to go, and I'll be done. I'll be retiring like a cop on an American theme show. But a lot of the good trades now get rinsed, as we talked about, like solar. That's rinsed in by solar companies, and that's the way it's going. It's only going to get rinsed more.
I'm not allowed to talk anymore because Tim Larson's got the ump with me.
What's Tim Larson saying?
He said I'm talking too much.
Oh.
I don't know how to have a conversation about business without relating to my own business. I'm trying to pull conversation out of John, but he just wants to have a boring business.
I don't know how to have a conversation about business, because apparently I found the past 2 weeks I haven't got one.
You haven't. It's not business.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask about business. I'm new to this. You know, I get respect. You've got a plan and you've got this and whatever, but I'm just winging it. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo what I'm doing.
Don't forget what it is. Like, you and Sam have started off in the last year, yeah? I had a business for 20 years and I went working for 4 years. I've come back. It's fucking totally different. The ground's totally different. So my 20 years of experience in business pre-2019 ain't worth shit. It's not worth fucking anything. So like, don't worry about it. No one knows what we're doing except Joseph Valentino. And I think some guy called Jordan's got a course on business you can do, but I don't know how good they are. But I don't know shit. Everything before 2009, everything before COVID is dead business. It's not even advice worth knowing.
Genuine question, John. Could you ring up Jordan and say, listen, I'm struggling with my business. It's not really working out very well. Can you give me some advice?
He'd probably answer the phone.
He'd probably go,
do you reckon he will give you access to his business course for free?
I think he's giving it away for free online. So I don't.
Was he? Why aren't you doing that?
What, his business course?
He's too busy at Joseph Valentino's business and university, isn't he?
It's true. He emails me like 3 times a day, if I'm honest.
But why aren't you doing Jordan's business course?
I just don't fancy it. I've had enough of it listening to him waffle on, so I don't really fancy it.
But isn't his business everything you want to be? Almost like, do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
He's got
What, making people a failing business, you mean?
Oh, what do you mean?
I'm just the facts speak for themselves, don't they? I mean, I got made redundant as well as some other people, so I don't see how that's a thriving business. I'm waiting for it to bounce back.
Well, you got to do.
Oh, are you going to go back and work for him? Do you think?
He wouldn't have me working for him.
Look at John's face; he's all contorted and bent out of shape. I'm asking him all these very difficult questions.
You know where I am on Wednesday? Actually, I'll get you out, John. I'm going to Peterborough on Wednesday to do a look at a job for a firm. Do you know what's in Peterborough that might be fun for my content? Joseph Valentino's university things. There is. I might pop past on Wednesday. You never know. See what's going on. Do you reckon I'll get nutted outside?
I reckon he would bash you up though.
And do I look like a bloke who's not been beat up before?
Definitely.
If you walk around, if you walk around getting worried about getting beat up, you never walk around anyway, would you?
I would love it if you did, mate. I'd love it if you did. I think that would be amazing.
As long as while he's smacking me, I can get a 1 minute fucking Instagram video out of it for Clark. I couldn't give a shit. I'm just outside.
Do you feel like now you're sort of you are making a living, like without having to answer to anyone really? You can, like, you are subbing, and to me that's not really a good business model, but fucking doesn't matter what my opinion is.
You would have known earlier on.
But with that, do you feel like you're making it? Do you feel happier working in this method?
Oh, 100%. I'm just so much more happy. I don't like answering to people. I've never been a good employee. I'll be really honest with you. I've never, ever been a good employee. Everywhere I've worked, I have been a menace and hard to work with. So, yeah, it's just because people rub me up the wrong way when there's someone in charge of you and they don't know as much as you, and you just like, and that's not me being big-headed. There's just, they put clowns in charge of things.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've worked.
How many times have you been sacked, John? How many of these firms have been sacked from?
I've only been made redundant once.
They're rookie numbers, mate. They're rookie numbers. You need to pump those numbers up. Yeah, I've been sacked about 8 times.
I've left every job I've had.
Yeah, fair one. I like him to get rid of me.
See, I don't think, like, I've had more lows than I ever thought I would moving into my own business, but I've never been happier with where I am in life.
If you're
and I wonder if that's how you feel about it yet.
I was so happy. Like, I mean, my missus has to put up with me. I was so miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. Like coming home, just doing her head in, and just, yeah, wasn't a pleasant person. And you just take this negativity, and then you take that to work, and then you're just negative there because you're not happy.
Sunday nights were the worst.
Ugh, I really, really didn't like. And now I just, because I'm only accountable to myself. So if I'm feeling rubbish or something's going wrong, it's me. So I can sort it out. So there's no real issue.
Yeah, that whole course change is directly within your power. Like, the thing for me is I used to stay up till like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday because I didn't want the weekend to end. I hated Monday so much. I'd be up till 2 o'clock on a Sunday, just like fighting it. And then I'd be miserable on Monday. And like Tuesdays were my worst day. Tuesdays were the worst day because I could, like, Monday, you just know you got to get on with it. But Tuesday was still, the weekend was so far away.
We've said it before. This, if you want to go self-employed, and we did it already on this show, you don't want to sit there worrying about work. Don't go self-employed. If you don't want to go, if you don't want to sit in your van in a quiet lay-by and have a think about your life, don't go self-employed. Because if you ain't doing that, you ain't self-employed. Yeah, that can range from having a little quiet think about your life in the lay-by to crying and everything in between.
Yeah, Fridays are different for me now. I'm like, right, have I got any work next week? And you're thinking, oh no, not yet. And it's just like a mad panic to try and get stuff booked in and what have you. Although now saying that, I'm booked for 3 weeks, so that's decent. But it's you can't. That's something to get used to, isn't it?
You can't be that guy that rings up. You've got to spend, like, because I have it with Sam when I'm training. I can't be on the phone every day, and me and Sam never catch up about the pod. But what you don't realise is that's in the day, every day that you're busy, you've got to set some time aside to speak to people that you know on network. Because if you don't, when you're not busy and you ring people up, they know you're ringing because you're desperate. And it's like, well, aren't you a mate when you're busy? So, like, you've got to make sure you keep in touch.
Do you know what? I was actually having withdrawals from talking to Jamie. I was like, and I'd get the ump with him when he wouldn't answer. I'd be like, that fucking dickhead. I need to moan about something. I need to talk about that. Where is he now?
It's the
Training.
one bad thing about
It's not even a
training.
business.
The one bad thing about training is, although you interact with lots of people, it's quite good fun because you're learning about new people and teaching new stuff and it's interesting. You can fall out of flavour with people you know. And it's like, but then you come out like, oh, I don't really feel like talking to them. I've been talking all day. But yeah, and but this one of them problems is when you are busy, when you're busy is the time to ring people for work. Because when you're not busy, it shows on the phone and people think, oh, just ring me up because he's fucking desperate.
Yeah, no one wants to help someone who's desperate. No one does.
Are you busy, mate? Yeah, busy. We've got it coming up though. Can you get on with in the future? Blah, blah,
No,
blah,
do you
blah,
know
blah.
what? That's another thing that fucking winds me up more than anything. Is when you say to someone, "Oh, you busy?" Yeah, mate, flat out. And you're like,
everyone's flat out. I don't get it.
Everyone's flat out apart from me. And I'm questioning my life when they're saying that. I'm like,
people say we're honest
on
on here.
How are you flat out? You look like a prick.
We always got a comment on here. We're always honest about work and stuff and money and that. But I don't think any of the podcast even touches on it. We're the only people that discuss it, aren't we? Because like, I'm. What's flat out even mean? Does that mean you've got work on Monday? Because I think there's different people judging it differently, isn't there?
What?
You were so still then, both of you. I thought the internet cut off. I was literally saying, what do people consider busy? Because like some people, everyone's always busy, but we're the only podcast that will talk about it honestly. And people go, oh, you're so honest in all possibilities. Go, good. So well, what's everyone else doing? Just lying all the time.
They must be. Like, no one could be that busy all the time. Like, whenever I go into a wholesaler, I ask a wholesaler, what's it like this week? Is it busy out there?
Yeah, they'll give you an honest answer, to be fair.
And they're like, no, it's quieter than usual. And then you ask the electrician, mate, flat out, yeah, booked up for the next 10 years. I had to close my books.
You brought up an interesting point there, Yates. An electrician considers himself busy. If you run round all day getting stuff, say it's Monday and you run round all day Monday, getting stuff for the jobs on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, you'd consider yourself busy. But financially, you're not busy. Whereas a wholesaler, they actually have figures. They're one of the few people in our trade that have figures. So they know exactly how busy they were last week because they get it through the thing on a Monday morning. This is what sales were last week, up or down. Whereas a Sparky can say, oh, I'm busy, but you're running around doing fucking nothing. I was fucking flat out last week. Do you know how much money I earned? Not a sausage. I was flat out in this office doing bullshit. Like, no money was earned. I was dead busy, but zero money was earned. So when people say I'm really busy, it's not a benchmark of fuck all, is it? It's just a phrase.
So for me, I sort of gauge busy by how much I've got booked in terms of how much I'm going to earn. So when I price up a job, I use Google Calendar. You can put notes in there. So if I quote a job, I put the amount I've quoted it for in there as well. So I know I can go through my week and know how much I'm potentially going to earn if everything comes off. So if I've got 1,500 quid booked up for the week, I'm busy.
You know, I want to add here because that's a good way of doing it. Yeah. You know, if you've got 1 million quotes, you know how much those 1 million quotes are worth?
Nothing.
Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing.
No.
Your quotes ain't worth shit, mate. Your leads ain't worth shit. Unless you're actually doing some graft and the money's ticking and the clock's ticking. Your quotes, your leads, all that bollocks. It's
not worth anything.
A fucking sausage.
But no, I only count the money that I have booked in for that week. So I can count it up and go, right, I've got 1,500 quid booked in for next week. That's a busy week. If I've only got 300 quid booked in for next week, I'm sort of shitting my pants a little bit. I'm hoping for something to come through.
This is my policy because you two don't work like this. I don't think you two work like this, yeah? The money you get, well, if you got 4 days next week, both of you, when are you as businesses going to see that money? So next week you do 4 days work.
By Friday.
Yeah. What about
a week
you,
or
John?
two? Week or two?
I'm like 60 days.
See, I'm payment upon completion.
Yeah, you can't work like that in my game. So then I'm I'm busy or I'm not busy, but I have to then think like, well, like I said earlier, I'm gonna have a bit of a quiet patch or a money patch in October. It's fucking July, mate, and I'm thinking about October, like cutting back. That's one of the things if you're working in the commercial sector, industrial sector.
See, I've got some time off this month, so it's going to be like with the kiddies, so it's going to be expensive with them.
Your
and
kids,
yeah,
just checking.
My kids, and but it's going to be that's going to be a lull. But I'm not going to feel that till like 2 weeks later, probably, because there'll be outstanding invoices, and then all of a sudden there'll be a slump in my income, and then that's when I'll feel it.
what I have to do is because I have and I've done this tradition. It's one bit of business I do remember. I'm still hang on. I'm still on the cable, and if I move my foot, I'm just going to plug. I always save £100 a month into a account for Christmas because the quiet patch in summer now, on some years, has affected me spending money for Christmas. So I have to pre-save all year for it. That's
Now,
what
I save
should
it.
be like.
I've started saving my cable for Christmas.
Don't
You can't go wrong.
Christmas. Don't scrap it. At
No,
Christmas,
you
you're
don't
gonna
scrap
go
it
No,
at
broke.
scrapping at
Christmas.
Christmas is the worst prices.
But
Yeah.
I was like, I just saved my cable now. Like, that'd be worth £500-600 for that week. That'd do me. Pays the
You've
bills.
got to plan ahead in business. You've got to have a slush fund, and you've got to plan ahead. Like, if you're domestic customers, I'm just making up here, so I don't really know. No domestic customer wants one smashing their ass up in December, which means if you're planning on spending your Christmas money you get on Christmas week, you're fucked because you ain't getting any. I'm guessing no one wants any work in the first 2 weeks in January either.
No, they do. They do. So it's like from asking about, that's actually a busy period because people are sick of the Christmas period by that time. They're ready and raving to go. No one wants to hang out.
I doubt £100 enough these days. That's a month, Ollie. I'm not just saving £100 up for Christmas. I'm not a Victorian slum owner. I do £800 a month because we're about 12.
Yeah, I'll put all of that away. I'll put money in a pot for the kids' birthdays and Christmases, and it just builds up all the time and then gets dips when their birthdays come around and Christmas and stuff like that.
That took
That's
a big
planning,
lump of stress out for me. That did. Like, pay yourself, because obviously limited company. So I have to pay myself and then put it in pots. I have one for the caravan, one for the Christmas, and one for the slush, which is all like birthdays and all that kind of stuff. It just makes my life a bit easier.
I just hope that I've got money when the birthday comes round. That's about it.
There's always
handmade gift.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's just where we've had no fallback whatsoever, no money in the bank. We've had no sort of buffer. So we just hope we've got money when it comes round.
What I do for birthdays is, for birthdays and that, just make sure your missus has got some nail varnish remover so you get the cash converter label off the present. or the old Sparky's name off the tester. And I'll get it off and sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Laughing.
John, is there anything else you want to add about this business talk?
Not really. I'm plodding along. I'm probably not.
What we said to everyone is, are we booking you on for next January for the to
I imagine I'll still be going. I'm now that I'm settled enough. Now that I've settled a bit and I feel more confident in things, I'm starting to do bits I want to do. So I've always wanted to carry on doing teaching content, which I tried to do on Instagram, but I struggle because of the short form content. So I want to start doing some longer form stuff. I've taken a massive break because I felt a bit scarred from my last firm and sort of how things were. I felt a bit used on their YouTube channel. So I took a massive break from it, and I'm now going to start doing my own bits. It's going to be boring teaching stuff. It won't be anything entertaining. But it's mainly for trainee apprentices and that kind of thing. And I'll start putting some stuff on there for people that want to learn a little bit from someone waffling on.
I'm going to ask this. Hold on, Jay. I'm going to ask this because it's interesting, and coming off the back of what you just said, that you felt a bit used on that channel. Did you not get paid to do that content though? What, there was no recoup from doing that? You just do the work and do the content?
No, I got a little YouTube bonus now and then, but that got scrapped when things were a bit tight. But that was like £50 a video, so I got no royalties for that.
Did you get paid
if I had to do a shout out, it was for companies, and that's what I didn't like. Didn't like sort of going,
Did you get any freebies and
shit? Pardon?
Did you get freebies and shit? Like when he got all that Milwaukee stuff, did you get a load of that?
No, it got given to Ruben, but then it got taken off of him and sold. So, yeah, I got some freebies. I got some tool bags out of it. So, yeah, I did get a few little bits.
But there was no benefit to you doing that content whatsoever other than exposure.
No, when the company started struggling, the first thing to go was that, and we went to kind of band together. And then, it never really came back. And it did start coming back, but it kind of, there was it just, for what it was, you didn't really want to. You got to bear in mind that every time that I was in a video, a cameraman just turned up. There was no plan. They just turned up and filmed us, and we had to make content. And for 50 quid, that's not really, not really great.
I'm guessing, let's be factual though. I don't think the exposure's done you any harm, has it? Is that fair? The exposure's not done you any harm, has it?
No. I don't mean in that way. I'm saying I felt dirty all over selling products that I didn't believe in. So when I had to do shout outs, nothing to do. No. Don't get me wrong. I'm really proud of the work that I've done there. I am, and I like all of the videos I've done. And I'm saying it was the side of it where we had to do shout outs for sponsors and stuff like that, because you're part of this media circus. That's all it is. I'm proud of all the content I've done there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but no, I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to ask about them, but
it's a strange old setup, and I suppose. Do you think the bigger players like Corey and that? Do you think they got looked after or not?
Well, we look at it in two ways. We are the two last employees of that company. I nearly got deleted from the internet when I left. Every single thing that mentioned my name got deleted from their posts. Every single bit got shut down. They tried to take my Instagram account off of me. So you work it out. You know what I mean? I never got he's going off and this is his company. I got nah, fuck you. We're deleting you from the internet. So
that's dangerous ground, because you are quite within your rights to have every bit of footage that includes you pulled.
No, I don't think it works like that.
GDPR, of course it does.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
GDPR said I don't want my face on any of your content. They have to take
I'm proud of all the content
I'm just
that's
saying,
been
but
created
if you're going to start playing silly bugs and on your Instagram, you could go, well.
And also, I want to say as well, it wasn't all like I don't. It feels like I'm bad mouthing the company, and I'm not, because when I started, it was really, really good, and the way you're encouraged to do the best job you can, even if it meant like the job didn't make profit. But obviously, circumstance changed, and maybe that kind of side of things caught up with the company in the end. So yeah, I don't want to sort of sound like I'm going after them or whatever else. It's really not. It's just that I just felt like I needed a break from all of the stuff that goes with it, sponsorships and all of that nonsense. I just want to do my.
Do you know what's funny? Sponsorships is so much more stressful. At first, like I've been right through the spectrum of sponsorship. From back in the early days of the EGTE, we had about fucking 6 or 7 sponsors at one time. We was earning a fortune. And then like when Jamie joined, we really sort of moved away from sponsorship, really. And we just have only sponsors that we genuinely believe in. But it's tiring dealing with sponsors, doing the sponsorship thing and all that. It's really not easy.
I operate in the social media sphere of Sparkers, and that's really where I follow Sparkers on Instagram. I watch a few YouTube videos. Everything else on YouTube is something I personally enjoy. I watch things like, but I do, obviously, for this show, I follow the Spark things, I was sat next to my missus earlier, and she was flicking through TikTok, something like just tossing it off while the kids were being quiet, and every other TikTok was for a fucking Ninja ice cream machine. And I was like, are you looking for that? She went, no, it's just what's coming up. I was like, how many followers that bloke got? She's like, this guy's going, oh, I really want one of these Ninja machines. I really want one. I was just like, you're lying. You're fucking lying. How many's he got? She's like, he's got 8 minutes. Like, he ain't saying that shit for free.
Nah.
Like, that's all paid. And obviously on a lot of YouTube, there's some YouTube players, and I do genuinely believe in the Spark space, they sell things that they use. But there are people that sell things they don't use, but they're not as bad, apart from eFix, obviously. They're not as bad as any of the stuff on TikTok. Because like they're going, this guy with 8 million followers going, oh, I really want one of them. I'm not thinking, as if you ain't got fucking Sensory to do this video, you can't. Sorry. But
it wasn't me.
It's bad. It's so bad. It's like the influencer thing. It's so bad. And there was a video, who shared it, about the plumber on the Plumber podcast, saying like, these people using these tools, they've got no experience of using them. Who sent me the link today? Someone sent me it. It was off the plumber. What's the comedy plumber? Funny guy.
It's the other podcast.
Plumber Parts?
Off the tools? No.
There was on this podcast. The guy on it was saying like, the people using all these tools and selling them, they haven't got any experience. They don't want to do any work. They're too polished now. The people that are actually tradespeople, the ones that got 30 years, and I'll say what he said. He said the ones with bit knackered, bit haggard, tattoos, swear a bit. He goes, they're the actual tradesmen, but the companies don't want them. They just want the young lads because it's
they want the young lads. Like, but the thing is, the sponsorship, the whole influencer thing, I was caught up in it for a while. I thought it was excellent, getting free shit, getting paid money for reading out an ad, and it was just like a free money that was coming. But you find out very quickly it's not free, and there's a lot. Like you'll get sent a product, and they want 4 videos on it, and you're like, "Fucking hell, it's a fucking pen tester."
I've watched people's videos on YouTube. I've been like, "Oh, this is actually not a bad video. I quite like this." And I don't like not watch anyone's videos in particular, but I'll just watch general electrical ones, and sometimes I'll go, "I was enjoying that video till you did that shitty ad read. Just bang it straight off." Like, if you do it in the front like an ad, or it's clearly an ad in the middle, I expect people to go and live, yeah. But you know, it's like a bit of a slang going, "Oh, you know what I really like? This tape." And they're like, "Oh, mate, come on, just tell us it's an ad and we can just pretend it's not there."
It's a horrible side of being on the inside of that, and it was a very big company, and and it's a media machine at the end of the day, and it's a hard thing to pull off. There's so much going on to do all of that stuff. I couldn't keep up with it. I just didn't want to be part of it. That's all.
Would you have a sponsor if you continue YouTube and you go into doing the teaching side of things? Sponsor for your channel?
I don't know. It depends on what your creative control is. If you just got to do a plugged advert, it seems like so. And if it's something you believe in, like if it's a piece of equipment that I actually use and really rave about, then maybe. But I don't know. I just still feel like I feel dirty all over from selling out to that sort of thing.
We don't play like that.
Saying that, I have a tester from Sharvin Arnu, which they gave me to use, and that so technically I have. It's not money or anything like that, but they gave me that to test out and see how it goes. So, but that's the test that I want to have a little look at.
I don't think the mind's telling us, but when we stopped with Chevron, it was a bit cagey, and they were like, "Oh, we don't." Neither side, it was a bit cagey, yeah, but they were like, "We're not sure about the readers." Like, we'll get there. It'll naturally happen, and they're really good to work with. I will say that about them generally. I don't find no crap, and it's enjoyable to work with them because they'll lend me stuff. I can use it in videos. The gear's good. They take honest feedback. Genuinely, for some reason, they'll share my videos about using their testing with their people. It's just a nice thing. It's very, but most of the sponsors we get won't stand for what they stand for.
My internet's fucking crashing.
Yeah, because we can hear you, but I can't see you. But yeah, they won't. But they're good. They're honest, and that's all they work for. But you can see by how many sponsorships we have, how many people actually like that. It's not a huge amount. Has Sam gone?
No. But I do get, I know it's not me hating on influencers because it's part of that world now, isn't it? It's just anytime you go on the gram and different bits, it's going to be sponsored, and that's fair enough. People were doing their bits. It's more that I was an unwilling participant in it. And I know people are going to say, well, you knew what you were joining. But in all honesty, I did ask to join the firm and be off camera, but was slowly introduced, and it was cool and everything else. But it just kind of...
I will respond to someone's put Jamie sold out to Chevron after his rant that Fluke is the best, right? I will take that, and I think it's a well-known fact that I have been a fanboy of Fluke for years, mainly because didn't know Chevron existed for most stuff. And what I will say to the tool guy is, before I was sponsored by Chevron, the only power analyzer I would accept on my jobs were Chevron because they were known for being it. I didn't know they did other stuff. So yeah, fair one. I was Fluke, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of due diligence before I started doing stuff with them, and it's worked out right because I think the gear stuff. But yeah, they are a competitor. They're the best power analyzers and PELs on the market. That's a fact. So I ain't just sold out. Like, you'll still see Fluke testing my videos. It's not like I got rid of everything and I swapped to one brand. It's just naturally there. And also, this week, I saw the ad for... The worst ad I saw this week that was an actual piss take was... Sorry, anyone that's sponsored by Tradify, yeah? Do you know what Tradify have come up with? They did a big push on this week. Tradify have come up with this thing called to-do lists. And what they do on their software is you can write a list of things you've got to do and it'll tell you to do it. And I was like, you know what I'd do with that, mate? I'd put that on every mobile phone. That'd really sell. That could be a big thing. And I was like, watching people going, oh, Tradify's got a to-do list. I'm like thinking, well, what have you been using me for now, you fucking penis? You are making yourself look like a fucking knob going, oh, look, Tradify's got a to-do list. like fucking hell, at least put some decent stuff in there. I don't know if anyone saw that, but I just thought it was
What
particularly.
I
fucking
will say
hilarious.
about the whole sponsorship thing.
Now you're
is-
back, thank fuck.
Yeah, it is a gift and a curse. So when Bundy left, I really wasn't going to continue the show, but I just taken out a sponsorship with someone and I owed them like 4 shows. So I was going to call it a day because I was sick of it. And when Jamie started, he was quite dogmatic about, I don't want a sponsor. I don't want no money. I'm doing it because I want to do it. I don't care what you do if you have a sponsor, but I don't want a load of sponsors on it. And I don't want you being sponsored by something you don't believe in. And he was quite firm on that. And it was so refreshing that I didn't have to have a sponsor. I didn't have to go out and get someone to sponsor so they'd do the podcast. Because for the whole of the podcast journey, people wanted paying. So I had to go and get a sponsor to get people paid. Jamie comes along. He didn't want paying no more. And I was like, fucking hell, that's lovely.
I was like, you are.
Yeah.
They just come and do
People
So-
get paid.
So for the longest time,
you guys getting paid.
So for the longest time, there was no money coming for it, and we could just get and from now, we literally turn away sponsors. We literally not we only work with people we want to do. We only do it the way we want to do it. If you don't want to get on board with that, bye.
I don't know if anyone's noticed. I don't know if anyone follows me on LinkedIn. Feel free to do it. Yeah. My new thing is when I get unsolicited sponsor requests or requests for any kind of crap on LinkedIn, I simply respond, but I play the part of a dildo salesman who owns a dildo factory, and then I cut them
why
into
we
a
don't get none.
conversation, and then I literally put it up on the screen as a screenshot. Go, I'm getting investment for a dildo factory, and people just don't know how to take it. But I don't want any of it. I don't want to fucking like. We're not selling it. This is. I don't know if we said this before. This is the Electricians Podcast by electricians for electricians, not the fucking sell fucking sparky
Well, I
shit
think-
podcast.
I think the accounts start off with the best of intentions, and it starts off with a little sponsor, and then it kind of snowballs and it gets out of control without
Yeah.
their sort of say so. And it's like before they know it, they're in the hole thinking, oh,
Yeah.
I've got this sponsor, doing shout outs. They've got to make 5 videos a week because they've got to appease all of these different people. And
Yeah,
it's
because
just,
you've had $2,000 up front off of a sponsor. Now they got you. Now you got to make their videos how they say you got to make their
I'll tell you what we
videos.
did
so
do,
it's
and we
not going
did
to
do
have that same creative drive that you had before when you were creating content. You were creating content to sell something, not something you want to do.
Yeah.
We made
You're making
Chevron
videos
send-
for the sake of it.
We made Chevron send us gear on loan. Well, I did. I made Chevron send me gear on loan. I was like, you can send it me on loan. You get it back, and if I don't like it, you can have it all back, and I'm not going to do it. Like I was like, you got to send me the gear. I need to see your gear. To be fair, they invited me to the office to look at a load of stuff. They sent me a PAL. Then I sent it back. Said I want this one. Then they sent me that one. Then I said I want to see this. And I said I want to see test leads. There was a lot of due diligence, and everyone was happy. But
See-
there are some people selling shit that they don't care about, aren't there?
See, for me, my biggest move away from sponsorship is really what I wanted to do was with the Verso shop, the electricianspod.shop, because I didn't need to be sponsored anymore. I was making money through that shop. That all ended badly because of the whole civil war at Verso, now Navitas. So that's why I do the merch now. I don't have to be sponsored now because I do the merch, and that's my way out. I'd rather give electricians something of value than read out an annoying sponsor.
I think someone thinks we probably lie at start well when we say like if you don't get service that's good, let us know. Like that's not a phrase. That's a fact.
No,
Like,
it's a good thing.
If everyone who's Edson has gone, oh, yeah, been really hard. If and it's not happened, but if one day I'll be ringing up going, why the fuck aren't you sorting out people that buy shit? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if it did, I think we all know I'd be on the phone and I'd be like, why is this not happening? Why is there a problem? Like, why are you making me look like a dick? Because that's what I'm going to do. But if you want to take loads of money off loads of people, great. But it's not our bag. We've got more respect in this show now than some shitty sponsor. You know what I mean?
But the thing I say about Navitas sponsorship is we have an incredible relationship with them. So they don't tell us nothing. They know what we do. They know who we are. They know that Jamie will pop off on stupid shit all the time. I might say something highly offensive, and we do what we do, and they're on board with it. So they accept us for who we are. We accept their brand for who they are, and we just get on. And that's what makes that relationship work. So same with CA. There's been stumbling blocks, but now we've got where we are. It's just a natural fit. But
And
fucking
also-
boring conversation.
Well, people are loving it in the chat, but I was it's just come naturally, isn't it? And it's also nearly 9 o'clock, but people are asking the chat. So people have asked in the chat, and we're just on about it. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this in your van on a Monday morning going to work.
Yeah, boring. Right, John, your ballad.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Oh, well, we're going to do a wholesale of the week. We've got a wholesale of the week before we go.
Oh,
bit late
Christ,
now.
I need a battery pack.
You what?
I've got 5%, so if I disappear suddenly, you know my phone died.
Well, we'll say bye to John. We'll do wholesale of the week because we moan they don't get sent in. Then when they do get sent in, we are a bit shit.
Do it then.
So the wholesale of the week, I've
Go
got the
for
sting up, yeah, the sting on screen. Wholesale of the week is Wild Electrical in Glasgow, nominated by Alan Chan. Now, I had to have a conversation about this with Alan Chan. I was like, have they got a coffee machine? Normally, if you ain't got a coffee machine, you're not getting on. But Alan Chan says they ain't got one, but they're Scottish, so they're tight. So we're going to let him go on this one. But he says if you go in there, they will make you a brew, like old school style. But he said they're good people, they look after you, they sort you on the counter, they get stuff in for him, and they're a decent thing. So Wild Electrical, wholesaler supplies. You are this week's wholesaler of the week. But get a tea machine, yeah? Come on.
Do you know what I mean? That's some bullshit, bruv.
Surely you're going to
At least have some hot water and some pot noodle in there. How much
No,
that cost, bruv?
They're English, mate. You'd have to have you'd have to have haggis and iron
No,
brew.
iron brew and buckfast.
Hot iron brew, buckfast, and haggis.
Right,
Yeah.
idiots. John, it's been a pleasure. It's always good to have you on.
Thanks, man.
You're coming back. I don't know if you know, you're coming back with David Saver to do the annual test review in a month or so's time.
Can I sit that one out?
Just so you know, yeah, you could do actually, because you no point in being on it because you're absolutely fucking useless.
Electricians Podcast. We are out. Go and get your merch.
Elite Sparky Crew.
Fucking crew. Electricianspod.shop. Enter.
No has no trainers.
I can't stop it. Hold on.
Are we off
Yeah,
here yet?
go
So
on.
I can say